All right, again, going into a new computer art and animation tutorial, and what we're going to get into today is creating a glitch animation where we kind of scroll through a few frames of different photos that we saved with different filters on them in Pixlr. And then we import those photos into Wick Editor and play them through on a loop and create an animated GIF, kind of like this. So let's go ahead and get started. So first thing you want to do is pick an image of something to animate here, and it's best to add this effect to something that's moving or doing some kind of action. Could be a musician, could be an athlete doing something, could be really anything, maybe something technology related. I'm going to go ahead and start with this same image of a snowboarder that I had in my example. I'm just going to right click and then go to copy image. Then we'll go to Pixlr. Pixlr.com, and we'll make sure we choose Pixlr E. Okay, Pixlr E is going to have more tool options and will look the same as what you're seeing here in my demo. Going to call this project Glitch GIF. Glitch GIF animation, and what I'm going to choose is a square HD for my size, and I scroll down a little bit here and click create. So now I just need to paste this in, so Command V will paste my image in, and going to just zoom out a little bit, and now I'm just going to click and drag the edges of my photo here so that it expands to fill my whole canvas space. Slide this over here as I like it kind of composed a little bit off to this side a little bit more. Maybe I'll nudge it just a little bit with my arrow keys to kind of get it right into the spot that I want it. All right, and now we are going to do a little bit of, we're going to do a layer of drawing. We're actually going to take this layer and move it up over the top of our photo. And we're going to do some duplicates of this photo layer as well, because we're going to do a series of images with different filters. So we're just going to duplicate this layer. So just click on the three dots next to the image and then go to duplicate. And we'll do that 3 times so that we end up with 4 images. So I have 1 and then the copies. And then on this top layer, we're going to do a little bit of drawing like I was saying. So we're going to take our rectangular marquee, our marquee selection tool, and we want to make sure we have add to selection chosen here because we're going to make some different shapes and we want them all to stay at once. If you don't have that on, then it'll just make a new shape every single time. So let's do a click drag, and when I let go, it keeps a shape there. And I'm going to do a series of a few of these kind of rectangular square type shapes and lines, all coming off of the edges of the picture. Maybe a couple that overlap the picture itself. Maybe I'll put another one kind of coming off this bottom space here over the mountain. Maybe I'll put kind of like one that hangs out in the center here. And then another small one maybe next to this one. But they can be pretty random. They don't have to be any particular size or placement. You definitely don't have to place them in the same exact places that I'm placing mine. Like I said, just kind of randomly going around, trying to even them out. Make sure that you have a few that come off of, each side of your photo. So I have not touched this left side yet. So that's why I'm going to do a couple of these in here. Maybe I'll make this one really small, just so I have some that come off of each side of my picture. Maybe one last one. I don't need to go too wild with it. Say like 7 or 8 of these kind of shapes is good. Now I'm going to choose a color over here, and I'm going to go with kind of like a RGB type of color scheme with these. So I'm going to make this one first like this, kind of like a greenish color here, and say okay. I'm going to use the fill bucket, which this fill bucket is this icon right over here, and click to fill in these shapes. Now it fills them all the same color. I'm going to change up the color and fill them now individually. So if I want the R, I'm going to take kind of this like magenta-y like color over here. And if I fill these in now, it should just fill them in one at a time. So I'm just going to kind of skip around, fill in a few of these. Maybe I'll do one more up here. And now I'm going to change my color one more time. I'm going to make it a blue-ish color. Let's see, let's go a little lighter, maybe even lighter here. That seems good. Cool. So we'll say okay. Let's maybe make this shape the blue. Maybe I'll skip down here and do one here. And maybe I'll do one over the mountain as well. All right, great. So now this is all set. I'm going to hit Command D to deselect or get rid of that selection area of those different shapes. And now we're ready to just kind of play with some filters here and layer styles and save these up and get them into Wick Editor. So let's see, let's go for the next part is to mess with filters, right? So we're going to go to our first top layer here. We'll go to the filter menu over here and go to glitches. Pixlr actually has a section just called glitches. And so our first one we're going to do is right in this folder. It's called Fringe, if I can get it. There we go. And I'll click to drag this box over to the side so I can really see my artwork happening here. And as you move these sliders, you can see that it adds these other dimensions going on to your photo. So once we're good with that, we'll say apply. And then I'm just going to make this layer invisible and move on down to the layer right below it. So now with this next photo layer selected, I'm going to go back to filter, back to glitch, and choose RGB split. And here I can again just kind of play with the sliders, and you get a little change in the splits of the different color levels. You can change the directions, so you can kind of move them around in a circle. Maybe I'll put them more like here. And you can change the amount. We'll keep that up high. And the colors. You can change the color levels, types of colors that you have going on. Kind of like this one. So I'll hit apply. And again, going to make that layer invisible. Go on down to the next image. And again, add another filter in here. So I'm going to go filter, glitches. This time I'll go with the next one down, which is scan lines. And turn these way up, turn the amount up so I can really see them. Really simple kind of filter going on here. You know, you can change these levels and see what you get. But yeah, real simple. They don't all need to be that complicated. And now the next one, as I make that layer invisible, going down to this base layer, I'm going to do something a little bit different with this one where I'm going to enlarge my picture so that it's bigger and it kind of touches the edges of the frame. So I'm just kind of expanding this so that my guy here, whoops, wrong layer moved. So my guy, the snowboarder, is like touching almost the edges of each side kind of my shape here. Keeps wanting to choose that layer. Let's just nudge this down, holding shift, moving them with my keyboard. So yeah, I just kind of want to blow them up a little bit bigger on this one, and then we'll add another filter. And that will be it for making our different images. So next one I kind of wanted to go with, you could use any of these that you want. Interference kind of does this cool like blur kind of line. You can double down and you can add multiple filters in here if you want it. Really whatever combination you do is up to you. And the only other thing we're going to end up doing when we get into animating this is actually doing some different blend modes here with this top layer. And so we'll get into that part as we go into part 2 for animating this glitch effect in Wick Editor. So that's it for our work mostly in Pixlr. We'll do some saving in the next part and get it into Wick Editor to animate.